I just saw the most mind-blowing fact about JFK.
What?
Do you get what I did there?
No.
Mind-blowing fact about JFK.
You know what? That's hilarious because in in
I
in
bet you heard that
research
one before.
in research for a 3 course that I was doing before I got on here, I was learning about some head exploding stuff too. So, way to tie it together and creep me out even more.
Yeah. That's a whole
The
different kind of red mist right there.
what? So we're just gonna knock them all out at once.
Let's hope so.
Okay, well, folks, that's not what we're here for. Today's not a 3 course. Hello, creepy peeps. We should try that again. Here, do
Yeah.
do you want to? Should we do something different?
Oh, that wasn't a cold open. That was just me testing a bit out.
Okay, good bit.
Yeah. So Little
Dude.
Shop of Horrors is about this guy.
This guy. No, I'm serious, dude. Anytime I research for our show for the 3 courses, which I've been doing, I'm making a giant list of sounds, images, and videos,
Uh-huh.
and it's terrifying. This is like it's the worst.
I
Because
gotta be
here's the
honest
thing.
though, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that when it comes to I mean, you contribute too, obviously, but I mean, when it comes to planning out what our movie lineup is, I can take care of that. You're the big internet horror archivist.
That's right.
So when it comes to 3 course, I leave that right up to you.
Yeah. Well, what I've been trying. I've been looking at different icebergs and all kinds of stuff to get some sounds down. And I was watching this one series, and the way the guy does it is he plays the sound first while showing you the title and then explains it. So it's just like snails fart. This is the sound of a snail farting. It's hilarious. Moving on. Ah! This is the sound of an old lady dying. And it's like, what? So it's scary because I'm sitting here, I don't know what's coming next. And some of the audio is boring and fine and trivial. And then he'll just hit you out of nowhere with something just horrible. And it's like, what? So I've had to mute the computer several times, skip several times,
Yep.
look over my shoulder several times. I should turn some lights on in here.
Hey, Creepy Peeps. It's the Creepy Peepers podcast. Coming at you with a little, I guess, kind of a bonus to a topic that we've already covered a little bit previously, a couple times on the podcast, actually. We are finally going to go down the actual video game side of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise.
The Five Nights at Freddy's. We talked about the film. We love the film. Hope y'all do too. But now we thought, us Creepy Peepers, we've talked enough about a couple of internet legends. We've got 4 solid 3-course episodes out. So why don't we shine a spotlight, take it away from Slender Man. Sorry, Slender Man. Hey! Sit down. And we're going to shine it on the Five Nights at Freddy's. We're going to talk about the games. We're going to talk about the Creepy Peepers' relationship with this franchise. And we're going to start with our first memories, our first sort of, our love at first sight.
Or should I say, love at first bite?
Oh! Wow, that was good.
Yep.
Um, well, I guess I'll start off with me, and hopefully this story is funny because I haven't told it in a while. But my first ever memory of Five Nights at Freddy's, I have kind of two equally like based, not these two stories are based. No, I have two equally important at like start off memories of Five Nights at Freddy's, and that is one October night in 2014. No, it was August because that's when the game came out.
Yep.
The game just came out or was getting ready to, and I had a friend at the time who was funny, and he came up to, and he came up to me. He was like, "Dude, did you hear about this new game called Five Nights at Freddy's?" And I was like, "Whoa, is it like Freddy Krueger? Are they finally making a Freddy Krueger game? You got to spend like 5 nights like dreaming, like because that'd be a good premise for a game. You spend 5 nights trying to fend off Freddy Krueger,
Yeah.
dreaming." And he goes, "Dude, no. So I saw like a trailer of Five Nights at Freddy's the game, and you're like in this house, and this creepy girl jump scares you, and then there's blood." And I was like, "So who's Freddy?" And he's like, "Yeah, the killer, I guess." And I thought, okay, this game feels like it's got something in store. And then a few months later, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 came out, and I was just sitting on the bus, and there are these two little boogers uh playing Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and I was like, what is this? And I saw Foxy jump out. Foxy was the first jump scare that I saw.
Wait. So this is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So was this this wasn't Mangle. This was the what is it like Scrap Fox or whatever
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. This is the withered Foxy that like
Withered
jumps.
Foxy, that's the one.
Yeah, he like jumps at you head on. That
Yeah.
was my first not jump scare. Because it didn't actually get me, but it was my first like, oh, like that was my first viewing of the character. The jump scare didn't get me. For some reason though, the game over screen of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 with withered Freddy just kind of looking at you through the mask, that creeped me out way more. And
I
the
get
actual
it though.
sound.
I get it though because
Yeah.
here's the thing. I don't okay. This is going to sound weird, but I've always found this very cool. I think there's something wrong with my brain because I don't experience hardcore emotions and like reactions the way a normal person does. For example, I can give myself a reflex test at any given time of day. And I don't mean that in the sense of like, oh, I like psych myself out and then try to react to it. No, I mean like I'll just be sitting here, like sitting like just like watching TV, and then I'll start hitting my own knee and doing the little twitch.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just like unconsciously. Which that doesn't sound that weird, but that's not really my point, all right? I'm talking about here when it comes to like kind of like what you were saying with the being creeped out more by the little end screen. Okay, so back during like the Slender, like heading into the FNAF era, like early on, I I was only 8 years old. I was staying over at my grandma's, and usually that would be the only time where I'd like watch YouTube because I'd like get her iPad or something. So I'd like watch YouTube videos about, and then when it was time to go to bed, and this is where I really messed up, because when you're a kid, you don't think about these things ahead of time. But when my grandma goes to sleep, even though I was young enough that it was like, okay, you're gonna sleep in the bed with grandma, because she had like one of those big like queen size, bedroom. She's still alive. I don't know why I said she did. She's literally.
Yeah.
But anyway, point is, um, so I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna sleep in bed with grandma. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna be fine. It's just like when I have a bedroom, I run to my parents' room, so it's fine. I can watch whatever I want. It's not gonna be scary, all right? No, but it is because, dude, it's just me and my grandma in the spookiest, oldest house that I've ever been in. Freaking, And so I'm over here like trying to fall asleep. So like, dude, pitch black room, no TV, nothing. And then like I can't do this. It's not working. But point is though, that's not even the weird part. The weird part is every time, because like it would become like those like horror, like Reddit horror stories, or even like horror movies, or like analog horror. Okay, that's probably a better way to explain it. Where because it was a pitch black room, because she'd turn off the light and then that'd be it. Then, dude, I'm seeing in pitch black, I'm seeing like Freddy's face. I'm seeing the outline of
Yeah.
Slender Man coming to kill me. I'm like, dude, what is happening? But it gets worse because as a kid, and I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before, as a kid, but even now, to this day, I have really, really vivid, like, just way too realistic and vivid dreams.
Really?
And then I'll wake up, and it's gotten to a point where in the first few minutes of me waking up, or in the last few minutes before I go to sleep, I have no concept of what's really happening or not. For example, I'm sure there's been a time or two where you've called me and I didn't pick up because I didn't think it was real.
Wow. That's funny.
It is, but it's funny. Like, I don't mind talking about it because it's interesting. But here's what's like fricked up. What's fricked up is like, okay, last like 2 weeks ago, I was over at my grandma's, and I was asleep, and I wake up, and again, in the first few seconds of me waking up, I see a centipede crawl across the wall in front of me.
Oh, like a
And
big
it's not
one?
like a no, well, no, like I know that there's centipedes like in the room where I stay at my grandma's, so it didn't freak me out that bad. Like I was like, okay, it's a centipede, but also just in general, it's like not that bad. But like I'm just over here, like what is like, and it wasn't even that wasn't real. All right, I'm giving a bad example. Let me give you a good example. All right, let me give you a good example.
Okay.
So every time I'm staying over there and my grandma or somebody wakes me up, they'll call my name. I'll be like, yes, and then they'll say, something. Okay, so it's been at least 3 or 4 times where that's happened, and I've gotten no response, only to find out no one called me and no one's home. And
Oh,
it's not supernatural. It's just like my brain being like, oh,
right.
well, you know what time it is.
Right. My brain actually, when I was a kid, used to do that all the time. I would always hear my mom or grandparents calling my name, um, and they wouldn't. And that also, I think, has something to do with what I was talking to you about earlier. You mentioned some mind blowing fact to me earlier, and I was
Oh yeah.
talking about doing research for this podcast, and what I was seeing for the creepy sound. Like I was researching for the creepy sounds list, and basically, those like times when like you're really tired and you're either about to fall asleep or something and you hear like this really loud noise for a split second
Yep.
of like a voice or something.
Yep.
That's just something that happens to people, but that's messed up.
It is.
And that actually, I think that it actually happened to me a few nights ago. But usually with me, when I get those sounds, it's just it'll either be someone saying like "hey" or like it's like cut off because these sounds only last for a few seconds. That's how it works. So it's either a hey or like a which is kind of funny. And but I mean, imagine because I'm laying in my bed, and usually it's when like there's deafening silence. So I'm sitting, I'll be laying in my bed, and I'm getting, I got the half open eyeball, and then right when I drift, I just hear, and it's like, and it's like what other? It's like when you're about to fall asleep, and you get that feeling of like falling over, even though you're laying down. and it like
Yeah.
jolts you back to wake. It's like sort of the same thing. Um, but that was a big sidetrack.
No, 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 no.
Nigel
It's a good
Nigel was talking about
sidetrack
seeing
though.
faces in the dark, right?
Yes, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want to build off that sidetrack just a little bit
Yes.
because, dude, here's where it gets like fricked up. All right, because all right, I didn't want to go this deep, but like for the sake of it, I think I will.
Okay.
So the reason why like I was having a lot of these like really vivid dreams and what made them like so scary as a kid, like even now I think it's scary. Oh my gosh, wait, I just realized it runs deeper. I told you about one of them. You experienced me having one of them. You didn't like see me like shaking or anything. I told you about the dream like the same day that I had it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um every time I have one of these vivid dreams, it's always about like some like big like, and maybe it's not like something about like growing up or something like maybe because like I wouldn't it wouldn't be weird for an adult to have these dreams, but it's alarming that that kids can have these dreams too. But it would always be about like something that's genuinely happening, like during the whole like North Korea conflict with America.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what I was having nightmares about. I was like
That's
fifth
right.
grade.
You did say that, and that's weird.
But I told you about one that I had recently when we were on the cruise about my parents dying.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And dude, yeah, it's been a problem that I've had. I've actually I've never, I should bring this up to like a therapist or something. I've been to like therapy sessions and stuff, but not like for this, just like in general. And I've never once mentioned that this is a problem that I've had since I was a child.
Nigel, we're the Creepy Peepers. We both have a lot to tell a therapist.
That's true. Yeah. I like I didn't sleep normally as a child, not because of the dreams, but just in general. I never, and it still kind of happens to this day too. I can't fully sleep through the night. Like I get paranoid and then I wake up and then I'm either up for a little bit or like now I've gotten better about it. But when I was a kid, I would be up for hours at a time. Like
Man,
I'd be able to stand in the same spot in my room, just standing there like freaked out because I'm like, why am I
that's
up? Why am I
true.
up so early?
Yeah. And especially with the whole like being paranoid at night and seeing stuff. I don't know what it is about Five Nights at Freddy's 2 that's like, I guess I'm probably going to award it second scariest Five Nights at Freddy's game because like that game is the one that I think did traumatize me. I can't
Yeah,
remember if I've told you this before because I've told a lot of people about this, but I remember back when I lived in a much scarier looking basement, I was like seeing a whole bunch of like Five Nights at Freddy's 2 stuff. I was getting into Five Nights at Freddy's for like the first time. But Withered Chica with her teeth and her wiry arms,
you did tell
just
me about this.
I did tell you about this. That was enough for me, and I literally was kept up all night in my bed just with that in my brain. And then like the more I kept thinking about that in my brain, my whole room was dark. So like I just started seeing just stuff and eyes and faces everywhere in everything. Everything was alive in my room that night.
Yeah,
That was one of the worst nights of my life. And I know because I still remember. Because,
I
we have
swear.
many of those nights as kids where it's like, ooh, ooh, I'm scared. And then you go to bed.
Yep, yep.
I
And
was
then for some reason
genuinely
you're
there.
not scared of it the next night.
Exactly. Exactly. And that was sort of the case there, but like it was just that one night where it was like, I, it's a robot. I didn't even let lot because normally if I'm afraid of something, I start to think of things logically. I didn't even let logic seep in there. I was just like, ah, ah, in my bed.
I try to negotiate. This is gonna sound
With
weird, but I try to like negotiate when I like get scared. Like I'll get like a pain in my chest, and even though I'm not like 65 years old, about to keel over from a heart attack, like this could happen. Like I think it happened last week. I get like a pain in my chest. I'm like, please, Please, I'll do anything. Just don't. I didn't even get my Pee Wee's Playhouse collectors
You
full
know
pack.
what's funny is like that's true because anytime that like I talk to you about stuff that's scary and you're like no, the way you say it, you never do bargain with me, but you're just like no, please, no, I
Because that's
no,
how it goes for
'cause
me.
that's how you are.
No, because like I don't know, like okay, I've always had a fear of like getting murdered. Well, okay,
Well, and I
but
don't.
I know that's a very like widespread fear. But no. I have a very and all right. This is gonna be a little meta here. Then not to be a little dark here, but living in America, all right. There's a
Yeah,
very rational fear that honestly I think most people should have of being murdered in a public place, considering the stuff that goes on here.
this is
But
true.
here's the thing. I I don't know. Like that's the mindset I go to. I go to like I'm first like bargaining. If I were Bruce Wayne's parents, every time I see the origin story and Bruce Wayne's dad is like, "You're not gonna take my lady's purse, dude," I'd be like, "Frick that lady, take it." I would have grabbed it off her myself.
What you would
Dude, don't
hey,
kill me, dude. Don't kill me,
well,
please.
hopefully, we're in the situation where the lady kind of gives up the purse first.
Well, let's hope so.
Because that'd be a sticky situation.
Did we sidetrack too much? Is this? Do you think they'll allow this?
I don't know. It's the Creepy Peepers.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Well,
too
I
much to
mean,
cut. It's too much to cut. I think it's fine.
yeah.
It should be
Um,
fine. It should be fine.
right. Well, back to the Five Nights at Freddy's. Um, what is your basic first sort of memory? Love at first
Oh, good question. Dude, 23 minutes in. Okay.
bite.
Um, my first memory of Finds a Freddy. Actually, it wasn't the game itself. I used to watch this Gary's Mod YouTuber, Venturian Tale,
Yeah.
and he had a Finds a Freddy's mod. And that was the first thing I had seen of Finds a Freddy's. And I was like, what is this? What are these animatronics? What am I looking at? And then like later on, it was honestly probably like it was at least several months later before I watched an actual Let's Play of it. And I remember when I watched a Let's Play of it, I was like, this is kind of lame. Like I remember I didn't take it seriously. Like I'd actually played Slender the Eight Pages when it first came out.
Really?
I Yeah, like my sister was like, "Hey, Nigel, come play this game."
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
that's right.
"Oh, okay."
I remember
Yeah,
that.
so but like I watched somebody play this. I'm like, this is. I mean, whatever, dude. Like it's like it wasn't that I like wasn't scared of it. It was just I was kind of like I'm seeing a lot of people talking about this. Like the hype was a little too much. Where even as a kid, I was like, but I
There
know
was
like
a lot of hype around the original game.
yeah,
Um, but I'm glad that it wasn't hyped up before its release
that's
because
true. Yeah, you didn't want like it's gonna be the scariest.
right, because Five Nights at Freddy's one specifically, um, it's not there are scarier indie horror games out there. Um, but the game is so good with its tension and its atmosphere that you know because the animatronics themselves they don't look that creepy,
Yeah,
I mean compared to some other animatronic renditions we've gotten over the years, of course. But that game's atmosphere is so well designed that you're left on edge playing that game the whole time, even though you know they're gonna jump scare you and you know what the jump scare is like. You're like, I don't want them to jump scare me. You know,
yeah.
I
And actually, now that I think about it, I think the first time I really um watched and like really absorbed a Five Nights at Freddy's game was when like Let's Plays for the second one came out. I think the second one is when I finally started to be like, oh, okay, yeah.
right, me too, because that's when it got mega popular enough to reach enough to reach. That's when it got mega popular enough for it to reach us Midwestern boys out here.
Midwestern boys.
And uh I find it funny that I got into it at such a late game. And I know the first two Five Nights at Freddy's games I think came out in the same year, right? Or
Wait, the second one?
was
The
yeah,
second one, yeah, I think the second one, yeah. The second one, that was what I always thought was so cool about it. That the second one came out the same year as the first. Then the third and fourth one came out the same year.
yeah.
Then Sister Location came out like the next year, even though it was a huge game. Well, not huge, but like
Oh yeah. Well, that was definitely um a landmark in the franchise at that point. That was like a big because that was the first time you could move to different rooms, and it was the first game with voice acting.
yes, and that was good. All right, there are some games where they add voice acting. It's like you didn't need it. Like, all right, here's the thing. It's not. I grew up with the Lego games, and
Yeah,
I remember when it was like I remember when that was what the quote unquote voice acting was. Then they had the actual voice actors, and it was fine. To be honest, I grew up more with the voice acting era than I did with the non-voice acting era. But I kind of liked the sarcasticness, the original Lego games had, because it really built up the Batman hates Superman thing,
yeah.
because all they could do, since they couldn't talk, was just have Batman be like ugh every time Superman came over, and I thought that was funny. I was a kid.
That is funny. Yeah.
And then here's Joker. I've got the whole world in my pants. I'm like, okay, Batman, dude, relax.
Um, I think the the voice acting in Sister Location was good. The problem I think most indie horror game with voice acting has is that the developers themselves voice act, and so you for a second, the acting isn't quite there.
Yeah.
Like I love when I love when like it's like, ooh, here's the creepy narrator character, and he comes up, and it's like, hello, welcome to the game, and it's like, oh,
The Creepy Peepers game.
you know what I mean?
Guess
Like
who it is? Oh,
when like the
oh.
creator voice. I mean, and that's what's also cool about Five Nights at Freddy's is like that was like the stereotypical because like most indie horror games had that like person on the side on a voice recording, which was the developer of the game, explaining the rules to you. And even though Five Nights at Freddy's wasn't that different in terms of that, there's still something uh different, I think, about Scott Cawthon's voice on the original game.
Well, because he wasn't just. Here's the thing. Every indie game now has some tongue-in-cheek guy who tries to either be way too sarcastic or
Right.
way too into it. Like he's either
Hmm.
like, "Hey, welcome to welcome back to Sonny's Dance Factory. Okay,
Right.
pick your character. Get ready. On your mark, get set. Okay, be sure to use that turbo boost. Bam!" Or you have the guy who's like, all right, looks like I got to train a new little guy. So why don't you go ahead and get up?
Can you imagine logging on to a game? Well, who's this little guy? Is that
Yeah,
Dane from the Creepy Peepers?
he knows who you are.
Well, I mean, who else is little?
Oh yeah. They have Chat GPT AI.
Yeah. Um. Well, I guess I'll move on to the another question that I've written down, and is that do you have a memory of like the big jump scare?
Yes. So
Ooh.
let's do this in order from game to game.
Okay,
Want to go over this? So I remember just because this was used as so many thumbnails, even before people knew the deeper lore behind Bonnie's character, even what would soon be revealed, both story wise and behind the scenes. Everyone used Bonnie's jump scare as the
that's true.
no one used like Freddy or Chica. It was always Bonnie's jump scare as like their YouTube thumbnail and when the game first came out.
Right.
But yeah, so there was that, and then let's see, second game. Second game second game they always use like Toy Chica or Mangle. And then actually no, sorry, I take that back. I take that back. Toy Chica or Mangle were always used in like scary like shorts, like homemade shorts that people would make and like source filmmaker.
That's
As
true.
far as actual like thumbnails and stuff and like characters that they would use, even if it wasn't that game and it was like a mod, it would be Toy Bonnie, the puppet, Balloon Boy, or Toy Freddy.
Right.
Yeah. Third game, of course, Springtrap. Like, there's literally no one else you could have used. No one's gonna be scared of Phantom Freddy on your freaking thumbnail,
Hey, I mean, but they tried. They put him on nearly most of them.
dude. Phantom Freddy is like who Freddy let himself go. Okay, he gained a couple pounds. I don't know
Yeah.
how he gained pounds when there's no pizza in this game.
Right. And he can't walk right. You see him walking through the window. He's just
Yeah, it's like,
hobbling.
dude.
It takes him 10 hours to move from one end to the other. And it
Don't get me
takes him so
wrong.
long. He'll dive down early to jump scare. Jump scare. He'll dive down early to jump scare you
Yeah.
because he takes so freaking long.
Um, FNAF 4. Okay, this one they could have used anyone for the thumbnails, and they did, and it was effective. This was a scary looking. Like, even though by that point the jump scares had gotten after like the third one and the fourth one were not known for their jump scares. These were both games that relied on the character design, which is good.
That's true.
But like this is what we're dealing with here. But that's like I said, it's good. Um, because yeah, these were games that really got across. Sorry, I was doing my crying child impression there.
Oh,
But
that was
basically,
good. I didn't know the
yeah,
crying child went, oh, oh.
dude. All right, you know what, Goat Man? Har 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 har. Yeah, yeah. Tune into last week's episode to wonder why that's funny. Um, but yeah, so basically, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's 4. I think that was the real game too. We'll get into this later, but I just want to kind of foreshadow. This was the game that changed things up as far as if you thought like these games are getting kind of like this was the one that really changed the game. And I'll explain why later. But
That's true.
let's Dane, what were your jump scare memories?
Um, what's funny about that is like I remember the bus one with Foxy, but it didn't really get to me because I wasn't playing. And then I remember getting the first game on like my uncle's computer, but I by that point, like by the time I actually got to like playing the games, I already knew what everyone's deal was. So like, the jump scares got me, but it wasn't like there was never really one memorable jump scare that like stood out to me, if that makes sense. Something weird with me though is I kind of feel like um since I don't have like a big one jump scare moment, I will say something I've something weird that I've noticed about myself with Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is that I don't know what the right combination is, but for some reason that some of Springtrap's jump scares would get me to a point that I would be able to taste the fear. Does that make
What?
isn't that weird? I
That
would
is.
like because like I already because we watched the Let's Plays and stuff, so it wasn't like any jump scare surprised me, but it was just I think Springtrap is Well, he's my favorite animatronic. I'll just get that out right now. But I also think he's one of the scariest.
Oh,
And
he's my scariest. He's
yeah,
he's across all. Dude, it's just a dead corpse in a freaking robot.
right. And that's what makes him cool. A dead serial killer's corpse inside there. But his whenever he would jump scare me, it would make my heart jump, and then like I would get this aftertaste in my mouth of just like
Blood. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
not blood. I can't really describe it, but it's really only a taste I'd get if something would jump scare me bad enough. It's
Okay.
really weird. I can't even like describe to you like a correct like mixture to give you an idea.
By the way, can I say just another little inside baseball here? Folks, this is so funny. I just remembered this. Right when Dane was talking about the jump scare thing, it reminded me. There was a 1 week period in which 2 days there were 2 days during that 1 week period. Um, 2 times in 1 week that I jump scared Dane just by walking ahead of him in the hallway and then hiding behind like some random doorway, and then I jump out and scare him. And for the guy who's like way more classically trained to scares than I am, dude, the reactions that he would give every time were like, "Oh, son of a,
That's
what
true.
the fuck, you got me."
We've talked about that on the pod before, right? I used to be a scare haunted house actor for a haunted house.
No, no, no. That's right. Remember, we were gonna give you a full length episode about it.
Wow, we must have planned that a year ago because I forgot about that.
We did. We planned it a long time ago. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, well, folks, fun. That's the fun fact there. Like Nigel said, I guess I'm sort of classically trained in the art of sneaking up and peekabooing somebody. Um, I still get scared though too. I embrace it. I think life's no fun without a good scare. So
I'll be honest. I'm glad that you're not one of those people who like gets scared and then is like, "Oh, you
why
know
would you
what?
do
That's
that?
worse than 40." Exactly. Yeah.
Because how can it not be funny when I give a reaction like that every time?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a huge part of what made Five Nights at Freddy's so popular. Is the YouTube Let's Players, fake or real, giving off their big reactions.
That's true. Yeah. I'll be honest. And this is gonna be like a so. I do have a bit of a history with the franchise. I should have prefaced earlier, but it's really that it's really that I didn't really get into this franchise until 2020. Yeah, yeah, 2020. So here's what happened. So, like I said, I watched the Let's Plays, but not really. To be honest, I think I watched like one Let's Play of the first game, maybe one Let's Play the second game, then lost all interest because then you had kids in elementary school. Have you read the new Five Nights at Freddy's book?
Oh
You
my
see, I
god!
got an interview with Scott Cawthon myself, and let's just say it was quite interesting. He signed my Freddy Fazbear plush toy, and he's going to be at my birthday party. I'm like, okay, thanks, Frederick. Point is, I kind of lost interest. I think I watched. I think after that, I watched the last like Markiplier's last Let's Play of Security Breach just to be like, oh, let's see what this was all about in the end.
Right,
But that was about it. Like I didn't even know, like I didn't even get into like the Matt Pat lore or anything. I just left it. I just left it be. But here's what happened. So in 2020, they added the game to Xbox Game Pass,
that's right. I
and
remember getting
it was
that.
all four of the original games. And I was like, you know what? I never actually played these games when they were out, so why don't I give them a try now? And I did, and I was fully back. Any like affinity that I had towards the franchise before, I was like, you know what? Let's keep it moving. It's pretty good. I started watching the game theories, and I was like, you know what, this game holds up. This is pretty good, and this is stuff like that.
It's
Um,
hoot and a holler.
yeah, and it was just I really had a lot of respect for this as a franchise, and I thought it was really cool. And so then I got Ultimate Custom Night, which all right, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Yeah, in fact, we'll talk about it. But why don't we just talk about it right now? Okay, it's a game where it's literally like a sandbox mode of the original FNAF. There's apparently lore, but let's be honest, there's not.
There's
Um, yeah, it's like FNAF World. They're like, no, 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 I swear it's important. No, it's not. You just wanted to have a little fun, which is fine. Which is
right,
fine. I'm not dogging on it. I'm just saying, relax. Um,
right.
Not everything has to mean something. But anyway, point is, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. That's as much as I mean, unless you want to talk more about those, but
I was just gonna say that when it comes to like the overall franchise, something that I notice now is that there is two types of Five Nights at Freddy's fans. And there's the younger demographic with their security breaches and their help wanteds and their books and their dolls. And then there's the seasoned peppers. There's the old crotcheties, and they watch the VHS analog horrors.
ooh, those are good. Yep,
They
we'll talk
fully
about
understand.
those.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about those too. But they also fully sort of grasp the true horror of a lot of because Five Nights at Freddy's for a game that nowadays seemingly is marketed towards a younger audience. It's got a lot of dark elements, very just generally just dark moments. Because the story of Five Nights at Freddy's is never a happy one. It's not
No,
it's not going towards a happy ending like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was, but that makes sense.
even
Movie.
even the good ending of like FNAF 3 isn't really that good.
Right.
Like it's good. Sorry, it's not like it's not good gameplay wise. It is. I mean, it's not good like for the characters.
Right. Right. Um and that's sort of the thing with Five Nights at Freddy's. The only thing that I have trouble with is just like it just it doesn't seem to end. And I wouldn't have so much of a problem with stuff like that because I'm a Doctor Who fan. That's a show that's never going to end. Okay. Then Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon either. But with the story, it seemed like there was just constant William Afton. He's come back and he's doing this, and then he was set on fire, and now his uncle came and grabbed him and put him in somewhere else, and now he's alive again, and then it's on fire again, and now there's a lot of the same stuff. There's never a break, and there's never an uphill climb and a downhill climb. It's just sort of
Yeah,
the same in a place with animatronics, and every character involved is not gonna not gonna it's not gonna end well. And so many people just get murked in this series.
yeah, I completely agree. I
But
think
my
that
my main point was that there's two types of FNAF fans, and that's something kind of not rare, but I guess kind of new for me to look at for a franchise is that the audience is so diverse in one topic. It's not like you see you know kids watching Sesame Street and then a Sesame Street enthusiast reading a Sesame Street novel with the tales of Elmo trying to raise money on the streets. That's not how it
yeah,
is. That and for a franchise that seems so well grounded in like children's stuff, it's cool. It's cool to see so many of us big pants grown-ups be like, Five Nights at Freddy's is very good.
yeah. But at the end of the day, I mean, let's. let's for anyone who, I mean, if you're watching this far in, clearly you've got some context. You know, it's a very popular franchise, but for anyone who doesn't know, let's just run through a quick. Okay, basically, a guy killed a bunch of kids because he owned a pizzeria, and then his friend killed himself. So that's about it. All right, that's the shortened, super hyper abridged version.
Really?
Um, yeah,
I mean, and to FNAF enthusiasts, that is just the first course.
yeah. No, don't get me wrong. But if you're 40 years old, I looked at our demographic. Well, okay, you know I have access to our demographics. The 44 through 66 demographic who's watching, they're probably confused. So I thought I'd give them a little. I throw them a bone.
Wait, well, okay. We got to talk about what Five Nights at Freddy's even is. Then Five Nights at Freddy's, a guy, and he kills kids, and he, um, uh, and he, wow, I had a brain fart. Sorry about that.
You see, that's why I had the
Um,
super duper abridged version.
that's right. Well, I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's is basically the first game, at least, and the premise of the game series is Night Watchman sitting in one room mainly. I mean, unlike nowadays, watching over security cameras and trying to fend off possessed Chuck E. Cheese like animatronics inside the restaurant. Uh, and that's pretty much, and everything else as to like the why and the how. That's all the story stuff that we were talking about.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you had to say about that?
Oh no. I was gonna say I we kind of moved past it, but I just want to say really quick while I had it fresh in the mind. Um, so we were talking about FNAF YouTubers earlier, which I'm sure at some point you had to have seen, even if you're not familiar with the franchise. FNAF YouTubers were just huge. They were. It became like it rivaled the likes of Spider-Man and Elsa Playdate gone wrong.
That's true.
Uh, but anyway, point is, there's a certain YouTuber who I'm actually not too happy with. Oh,
Uh
this is why I thought of him. This was during my COVID resurgence into the franchise. Um, but basically, there's one YouTuber who's very popular now and is known for a certain persona that I don't think worked with this Let's Play. All right, no offense to the guy. All right, to each his own when it comes to reacting to certain things. But okay, don't don't make your fan base look like idiots. There's a
okay.
guy that a lot of people like, and I have nothing against. And even though I didn't like how he treated this, I I had to stop watching him for like a little bit after this. So, Moist Critical on YouTube is known for his kind of like deadpan delivery. Um,
And he talks like this about all the topics.
but
Um,
before now, he was just fully this. Like now, he kind of like he can kind of ebb and flow with it.
oh
But
yeah, he does got more. His general commentary has gotten better, I think.
yeah, and I went back and watched his at that point 4 year old, so now 7 year old, um, original FNAF Let's Play, and dude, it was just like it made me mad as somebody who did get scared at and would have gotten scared if I had been playing it in that moment too, especially when the game first came out, which at that point it would have. He was playing the first game and then he did one for the second game, and both times he was like, wow, that was so scary, I'm actually peeing myself. I'm like, dude, don't. All right, stop. All
Right.
right,
He
that's like the stuff that like your older siblings do to like dog on you. That's like, I don't know, I didn't
right.
like that.
That that's I agree. That is something that I saw with him for a while was just this nothing can scare me. You think you can pull a fast one on me? Woo! Like you get that? He he did have that definite persona for a while where it was like, oh, I'm not gonna get scared by this funny Five Nights at Freddy's thing. It's Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't even be as mad if he genuinely weren't like genuinely wasn't a guy who gets scared easily. Dude,
Right.
during that period in which I had gotten into watching him, he was constantly posting about how scared he got at flying cockroaches that kept getting into his house
Yeah.
because he's in Florida.
Yes, that's true.
He's like screaming and running away, and I'm like, dude, are you serious?
Yes.
Not because I wouldn't have the same reaction. I would. But you know what I also wouldn't do? Patronize my entire child fan base for not liking a scary game.
Right. And that's sort of something I'm sort of dealing with the same thing now with and I can't remember if we talked about this on the movie review, but Jacksepticeye, for some reason he felt it necessary to put, on Twitter, which I'm not on, but I mean this was, I guess, popular enough for me to see, where he's like, "No, I didn't like the FNAF movie." Like, I mean, like pretty much everyone else did. And I feel like Jacksepticeye did that thing where he thought everyone else was going to say it was bad, so he might as well make the video saying it first. And now
Mm.
he looks kind of stupid.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Let's hope so. He
Yeah.
does to me with Five Nights at Freddy's becoming the highest grossing horror movie of 2023.
Hey, good for them.
Yeah, honestly.
And one of the most popular videos on the or popular podcasts of the Creepy Peepers.
Oh yeah. And I just bought the Blu-ray.
Oh, did you?
I pre-ordered it.
Hey, good for you.
Yeah, very nice. It's also on Peacock, as you guys know, but whatever. We can't play the Five Nights at Freddy's games on Peacock.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool bonus
Um.
feature.
Yeah. We'll Discord screen share it through the podcast.
Well, what?
Point is though. Yeah. So those were the first few games. Going on. Let's look back. Let's do a little skull rating action.
A skull rating action?
Yeah. Let's
Wait, wait,
rate
wait,
every.
wait, wait. Wait. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's the sexiest animatronic?
Okay, dude.
What?
What?
That's a genuine question.
Markiplier?
No, that's not an animatronic.
No, that wasn't my answer. I'm saying this is. I'm saying what like Markiplier type. All right, the bid didn't land. You didn't get what I was doing. Okay, I do have an answer, but dude, it's just you threw me for a loop. All right, what are the kids gonna think?
They're gonna love it.
What's Tyson gonna think when he listens to this?
He's gonna go like that.
Most likely. I'd say probably either Funtime Chica or Ballora.
Oh, Ballora, I never liked.
Dude, are you serious? I will
I'm
throw you off a building. What do you mean?
because here's the thing. Because like I've never okay. I've never been into like that. You know what I mean? I
What?
ballerinas creep me out. They just their precision is too, and especially with Ballora because she's an actual robot, and ballerina's precision is very robotic like, and she's a robot, and she's creepy enough in that one part where you're trying to crawl through that dark room and she's kind of spinning around, in sister location. But no, I've never had a thing for Ballora. I think it's
You're
popular.
missing out.
I bet. I think it is the popular vote though to I think it's the popular vote for Toy Chica from the second game. Because I
That
remember
is.
because she has the pink like the whole the pink outfit situation. She's
Yeah,
got
I don't know what's up with that pink booty short. I think Scott was a little lonely around that time.
and that was something that a lot of I remember people talking about with that game.
Yeah.
I remember even Markiplier. Like I remember when everyone gets their first glimpse of her at the hallway, they're like, "Whoa, what is happening now, huh? Chica, you slim down." Chica walks over. I slim down, didn't I?
Yeah. I slimmed down, didn't I? That's a little inside joke for the insiders on Creepy Peepers. But
But
yeah.
here's the thing: I'd have to vote yeah, above Toy Chica because that's a basic answer. I'd have to vote Music Man. Moving on.
Music Man. Why? Because he's you?
No, because of his arms.
Oh, dude. You want those? You want to crash those cymbals?
Ooh. Hey there.
But yeah.
Okay.
Moving on.
We'll skull rate each game. How about that? Here, let me look up each game
Yes.
so I remember. Because I don't know how many games have come out since. Hang on. Okay. Yeah. You go ahead and start us off.
All right. FNAF 1, I'm going to give honestly 10 out of 10.
Yeah. I mean, it's a classic.
Yeah. 10 out of 10.
It's forever iconic. The 4
FNAF
animatronics,
2.
the atmosphere, all good.
FNAF 2, 7 out of 10. And here's why. It's just too hard. Dude, to this day, I haven't gotten past night 4, dude. It's too hard. It's got great, it's a great expansion of the original, but it's too hard.
Yeah.
FNAF 3, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10 because I find the atmosphere way scarier.
Oh,
And I think that Springtrap is the scariest villain. All right, I think Springtrap is the scariest animatronic. FNAF
yes.
4, I'm gonna give a 9 out of 10 for scares. Gameplay wise, I've heard it's a little barren, but scare wise, and the fact that, dude, that's what I was gonna say earlier. FNAF 4 became like a huge thing because it's in your own house. The only
That's
thing that
true.
saved you as a kid was like, oh, it could never happen to me. I don't live in a pizzeria. Dude, then the FNAF 4 animatronics are in your house, dude. It's scary.
And they're scarier than ever. Their designs
Yeah,
and
they've got
everything.
the sharp teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that one I'll give a 9 out of 10. Sister Location I didn't play. But from what I saw, honestly, I'll give it like maybe a 7.5. I like the part where you get scooped and then the
Yeah, that
arcade
part.
people are clapping for you and they're like, "Oh, you're scary." Um,
I like
so I
the
like that
part
one.
at the end where you look in the mirror and you're like you just see your outline in the mirror and then your eyes open and they're
Yeah, that's pretty scary. Um, FNAF, what is that? FNAF 5, FNAF 6. I'm pretty sure was Ultimate Custom Night and or FNAF World. So I'll just do like a little 2-in-1 there. Ultimate Custom Night, I'll give a 4. No, I'll give it a 5. I'll give it a 5. It's fun. It's a cool idea. FNAF World, I'll give it a 3. Because, dude,
oh
are you serious?
yeah. Oh, sorry, FNAF World.
Yeah,
FNAF
FNAF World.
Pizzeria Simulator.
Oh, pizza. Oh,
Which
that one's Pizzeria Simulator. Oh, in that case,
yeah,
I
because
actually really like
I
Pizzeria
would
Simulator. I'll
say
give it a 10.
yeah, Pizzeria Simulator was cool because it was at first thought of to be just another one of Scott's, just sort of weird games, sort of akin to FNAF World, and then like a good way into it, it becomes an official Five Nights at Freddy's 6.
Yeah.
That was something because usually Scott would tease and then release it early and it'd be a big event. This he just released. People were like, oh, let's play this new game that Scott played. Let's play it here. And then all of a sudden, desk in the with the interview with the big baby thing, in the orange light.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, guys, chat, what's happening, gang? You know,
Yeah.
that was my Dawko impression, by the way.
Dawko, another classic FNAF YouTuber.
Another classic FNAF who made it onto the Employee of the Month wall in the movie.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
I actually didn't notice that he didn't get to make like a full on guest star, but I'm glad that he's somewhere around there.
Yeah, he's at least on the set.
But yeah, so
What's after the sixth one? I'm trying to scroll down, but there's literally, I'm not even kidding, so many ads, it's refusing to.
I'll
Oh,
give Pizzeria Simulator points too. I think I'll give it a 10, not just because it's scary and it subverted your expectations, but also because it's just fun. As an actual simulator, it actually is fun. They got little
right.
mini games. They've got little lore tie-ins. The fruit punch clown mini game where you literally just scare kids as a fruit punch clown animatronic, and then it goes fruit punch for everyone.
um, well, then after that came Help Wanted. What do you think of basically
I
FNAF
played it.
VR? I play
Yeah,
it
I
too.
played it.
I play that too. I love it. That's one of my favorite experiences that I have on the Oculus is that game.
No. Yeah. You know what? You know what? I'll give it a 9. I'll give it a 9 because no, 10. 10 because that's the penultimate FNAF experience, all right? The fact that they updated everything and remastered everything and then made it so that you're even more immersed in the action. FNAF 3 Springtrap, literally you can see him crawling out of a vent.
Yeah. Dude, that's one of my favorite parts of that game is seeing Springtrap in the vent.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's, a lot of those, I mean, if not a lot, all the games in that series, those games were made to be in VR. So Help Wanted, I mean, thank God it exists. Um, well, we all know with the amount of games that come out, and Scott Cawthon really can't help himself by making different variants of animatronics. So Five Nights at Freddy's AR Special Delivery, which is I think the mobile game,
It
right?
is. It's a mobile game. I downloaded it on my grandma's phone like 4 years ago. It was not good.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I think I downloaded it like once for one day, tried it out, and I mean, cool idea, and they did a good job overall with like the graphics, I think, for a mobile game because a lot of other mobile games just don't do that. But
Pixel done 3D.
exactly. But other than that, I think it's literally just an excuse for Scott to make a bunch of different versions of his animatronics like he likes to. Well, basically, then we get to our latest game so far. I know Help Wanted 2 has come out already. Or not. Well, actually, yeah, it has come out. I haven't played that yet.
Oh, I didn't know the second one came out.
Yeah. I think my brother Tyson, shout out to Tyson.
Yeah.
he got the game. Uh I don't know if or I think he knows it's out, but he hasn't gotten it yet.
Oh, okay.
Um but he's about to probably for Christmas. Um but basically other than that, Security Breach is a stinker. It's not okay. It's not a stinker.
It is. Honestly, in my opinion, I think it is. And it's because they did what a lot of video games were doing for a while, where they were unfinished games just to meet the deadline. Like, dude, video
Oh yeah.
care if your game comes out a few months later if it's gonna be better. We don't
That's
want you to
true.
release it earlier to release a worse game. Like Cyberpunk. They were like,
Yeah.
oh man, this took so long. Let's just roll it out now. It's like, dude, if we can wait 10 years, we can wait another like year for you to not have the most buggy, glitched game of all time. And it literally only took them like a year or two to fix all that stuff too, or like mostly fix it.
Yeah, I remember Security Breach having a huge bug issue when it first came out.
Yeah.
And you could just kind of tell too that things were unfinished and frame rates were off and all kinds of terrible stuff. I guess I can commend it for doing something different. And the only thing that I do like about it is like Freddy. and Gregory sort of have that Iron Giant wisdom to them, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying with that.
And I always thought Freddy Fazbear was like a perfect character for that style of story. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm glad
Actually,
that
in fact, they kind of do that with the movie too.
right. So I'm glad they got to do that in the franchise at some point. And I mean, it might as well be this one. Um, but other than that, Security Breach, I have no interest in. But I'm glad that it was different and it didn't lean too much into like lore. I
It
mean,
didn't lean too much into
enough,
lore.
but it didn't lean into it. Right.
Yeah, it didn't lean too much into it, but I will admit, okay, considering that we're not going to get any new games, at least like not any new, like I think we are apparently going to get new games still, but it's not going to be Scott anymore or something like that.
Yeah.
Um the only thing that I don't like about that is that now Security Breach rewrote the lore where apparently the stuff really happened, or like it partially happened, but Scott in universe is an indie developer who's like fabricating some stuff. What I don't like
Yeah.
about that isn't the fact that they wrote that into the story, but that we're not going to get any clear answers, like alluding more to what that means, or at least for the time being we're not going to get any uh like especially built up lore
Right.
timelines or anything from Scott.
We're not gonna get any of that juicy stuff anymore. Which I feel like it happened this way because Scott didn't know how to end it. Which I mean is
Probably.
fair because he always talked about struggling with like what fans want, and he knew like finishing off the story would never satisfy everyone. So I guess I just don't count newer stuff as canon because it ruins the intrigue that we first uh had built for us when we first started playing the original games. That's what we're interested in. And now all these new games are like, that did not happen. Now this kitty stuff is happening. And it's like, no.
Yeah, it turns out the fruit punch clown from FNAF Pizza Simulator is Freddy Fazbear.
Yeah. Well, that's it for me for the ratings of these games.
Well, you didn't rate it.
I didn't rate it. Okay, fine. I'll give a Security Breach at least like a 1 for its you know.
Wow.
No, I'll give it a 2. I'm sorry. I'll give it a 2. I'm sorry.
Dude, that's still comically low. I thought you were going to give it a little higher.
Well, I mean, I can give a lot of stuff a little bit higher.
That's true.
Fine,
I'm
here.
gonna give it a 4. I didn't play it.
I'll
I'm
give it
gonna
a
give it a
3.
4, but it's because I like Vanessa,
Of course you do.
but not like that. I like her
Well, hey,
as an
we heard what you thought about her in the movie, okay?
dude. That is different. That's like saying I like Nami from One Piece and Nami. Actually, I guess I like her in both the anime and the live action. But still, dude, like no. I mean, I like the introduction of a new Afton family robot villain. I think that
Right.
that's good because I was getting, and so was the fan base. We were getting sick of, no, Afton's back. No, he's not, dude. No, he's not. All right. I feel like Scott has just been listening to the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. And he was like, you know what? What if the boys came back? He got inspired. Um, but anyway, yeah, I'll give it like a 4. I don't know. It's kind of cool that you can like walk around. You can tell they had a good time doing like this whole 80s Pizzaplex thing. I think
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
the atmosphere is
Um,
good.
the Ruined DLC. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for that HD spatial audio yawn. But the Ruined DLC I didn't play and don't know anything about, so I won't skull rate it
Yeah.
because it might be good or it might be bad. We don't know, but we don't want to just be like, it's probably we're not gonna do that. So Some people do
Right.
that. We're not gonna do that. We have integrity, so we're gonna skip over that. But
We've got the
what
biggest boy pants you've ever seen.
really?
Yeah. We're the high official big boy pants wearing podcast.
Are you sure it's not Conan O'Brien needs a friend? Special
What?
guest David Spade.
And here he is. Oh wow, hey.
He's
His
surprised
hair
that he
swoops
hasn't
in.
guessed. Hey, it's you. What? Did we not schedule this? No. But yeah, so that's about all from us. Um,
Is there anything about this franchise we left out that you are severely and forever going to hold a grudge against the Creepy Peepers for not mentioning? Let us know. And if they ever make a Five Nights at Freddy's 2 20 years later, we may talk about it then.
yeah, absolutely. We're hoping for a lot of sequels creeping soon. But speaking of
Ooh.
creep, we will creep you next time on the Creepy Peepers podcast,
Oh,
where
yeah.
where we will be rolling out our Christmas lineup. That's right. We're actually gonna have a
Oh.
Christmas lineup because we're gonna try to. We're looking to finish out this first season by the end of the year, so that we can get out. We can start season 2 at the start of next year. You know,
Right.
it's just to even it out, even things out a little bit. Which does mean we will be taking a break, but don't worry, we're gonna get out at least 6 more episodes other than this one.
We've got
For
some things
you.
cooking that we have to
Yes, we
let
do.
simmer in the pot for a while once we finish up this season.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for all that. And yeah, we will see you next time, Creepy Peepers.
Hello? Well, if you're listening back to this, Mr. Nigel, I'm going to go ahead and end it right here because it appears you've fallen asleep. So I'll save you the trouble and I'll end it right here. But we're going to have to finish out an outro or something.
This has been a Just a Guy Network audio production.